Welcome to season 2 of the 360 Perspective podcast. We are super excited about this season. We are not only on the different podcast platforms, but we are now on YouTube as well. So you can go ahead and check us out on YouTube at the 360 Perspective podcast, and you can find us there. And we are super excited about this second season because we'll be exploring different topics as well as just having different guests to come along where we can draw, from their experiences, from their perspectives, from their journeys of life, as well as experts and people who are, carry a certain level of knowledge in the area and some of the topics that we will be exploring. So karibuni sana. And on today's very fast podcast, second season episode, I am joined by my two good friends right here, Ashley and Baraka. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Thank you.
Salimieni wananchi kidogo. Maybe you can just tell us your name and briefly like what you do.
Wow. So my name is Ashley Mutiso. What I do is I usually feel like I have very many seasons in life. So I don't really know what to tell people when I say what I do, but I work in the development and policy space across Africa, and we're trying to advance good policies across organizations and governments in Africa. So that's what I do as a day job. On the other hand, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am
Very
an
important.
aunt to two beautiful boys, and I'm a lover of life. Yeah.
Awesome. That one, I do agree to that. You're a lover of life. All right, it's great to have you, Ashley. All right, on to the next.
Asante sana for having me. My name is Baraka. I'm a philanthropist.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Even I didn't know that.
I just like,
It's like after Ashley Bana,
What?
you have to do something great. I'm in the philanthropy world, a kid. I'm in the tech world, actually. I'm in the tech world. I work at a company called Color. I do project management there. But I think I'm more known for my event space. So I'm an events producer, a stage producer, an MC, a retired DJ. Even me, I'm a love of life.
Lawyer.
Bana. Oh yeah, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
how do
I
you
forgot
forget that? That's where you started
Maze wakili, a
from.
quick one every day. Yeah, man, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and all of us have been friends for quite some time. So maybe we can go down memory lane and just recap on how we became friends. Hopefully, Baraka, you won't embarrass me. But Ashley,
Challenge
maybe we
accepted.
can start with you because we've been friends for quite some years now,
Yeah,
right?
we've been friends since 2013.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we met. We first met in 2013 at a mentorship program for Rusinga Year 11 girls. I think I had a lot of time. I was still in school then. I had a lot of time in my hands. And I was like, I saw somebody posting about this and I told my friends, since we have Friday afternoons off from school, let's go and take part in this. Also, those free food and money.
Yeah, those facilitation fee.
There's a facilitation fee. And when you're in campus, it's important.
Everything.
The food was important as well. But yeah, I think we had a good time and that's why I met you. Baraka, I have known Baraka since Sunday school.
Maze.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, since we're kids.
Since we were kids, yeah. I think it just, back then when you're kids and you're so fascinated by twins. It's like every time it's like, wow, I wish I could be a twin.
And I don't know why Baraka didn't mention he's a twin.
I forgot that.
But anyway.
But yeah, that's when I met Baraka. And I think we became good friends after high school.
Yeah, X-Scans
going forward. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Baraka.
Yeah, so pretty much like she said, we met in Sunday school. I think we became better friends when we started doing X-Scans together at Sitam Valley Road. Yeah, and I've always thought, and I say this all the time, Ashley is phenomenal.
Wow.
Ashley is phenomenal. I think then when I got to know like her mind, it was just a chick, like a nice fly chick. But I was like, Ashley's mind is phenomenal, So around 2010, moving forward, and then I went to school with her brother, her older brother. Lily and I were in campus. We did law together with him. So I spent a lot of time. Hey, Ashley, ako aje? Anaendelea vipi? I used to inquire a lot about Ashley. For Trish, I met Trish on a bus.
Oh my gosh.
I met Trish on a bus in December of 2009. Yeah, we're going to Mombasa. My friends were going for a camp. And we're sitting at the back of the bus and we're all talking. Then we had a girl with an American accent, stories about water.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I was like, uni nani? And then she's like, hey, my name's Patricia, but you can call me Pishizo. She used to be Pishizo. Used to be her name.
Okay, go ahead.
She used to be Pishizo. So it's called La Pishizo Manizo. And she was this great girl. She was dancing. She was so full of joy and energy. And I got to meet her family, her siblings, her cousins, and they became my family, you know. So, yep, that's how I known her.
Yeah,
for a long time. Yeah.
It's so funny you say Pishi's all people know which era
Yeah.
from, like the
that time
Facebook era.
I was like, back then.
No. Let's just drop that. But anyway, yeah, it's been amazing years of knowing both of you. Just amazing friendship. I think they say the friendships that you make earlier on in your years, you know, in campus years, those are the friendships that you take with you along the journey as you grow older. So it's such a blessing to know the both of you and the phenomenal mind. Ashley, now today, I wanted us to just talk about one of the topics that is, I think a lot of times we don't really delve deeper into it, but it's something that happens to everyone. I think we all can agree that life is anything but smooth sailing, you know, and that's adversity and failure, especially now that we've just come out from COVID, you know. I think, you know, some marriages didn't work out. I know a couple of friends who went through divorce. This Nairobi, you know about heartbreaks, you know, there are businesses that, you know, genuinely people started and it kicked off, but then because of COVID, it shut. And I mean, I think each one of us, all of us can truly testify that we've gone through a certain season of adversity or failure, whatever that looks like. And I think for me, I did share my story in season 1, episode 8, you know, just about, you know, a very tough season that I ever had to go through in my life and just how I navigated that season. So I'd love to hear from just the both of you. Have you been through such a season of either adversity or failure? Hata kama ni heartbreak, you know, just whichever you're comfortable sharing. I'd love to just hear your stories just on, yeah. Adversity or failure?
I think I want to hear my heartbreak. I want to hear your heartbreak as well. Your heartbreak, sana. So Ashley answer the heartbreak.
Oh my goodness. Do we need to go there?
You don't have. It doesn't have to be heartbreak. I think adversity and failure comes in different forms
but
and
I
shapes.
think now we've just like gotten over a heartbreak.
Okay.
You'd have asked me about this topic 3 years ago. I'd have been like, why? Why are you poking that hole?
Yeah.
And then now it's just like, it's life. I mean, but in the heat of the moment, when you're going through it, you're like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said that I was reading somewhere, and I don't even know whether it's scientifically true, that heartbreaks mimic heart attacks in terms of the physical aspect. And that's why you hear people saying, oh my God, my heart feels like it's tight. And you're wondering, but I'm young. Kumbe, it's that guy who's broken your heart into literal pieces. But yeah, I think I've been through heartbreak. Major heartbreaks twice. Munajijua. Nikina nani nyinya.
Maybe right now they're married and they moved on with kids.
Funny enough,
anyway.
they're not.
Wow.
Look at him. He's like, no.
They ain't.
But I think, for me, I think one of my toughest seasons in life was maybe 2019. I think was one of my most difficult years. I went through a heartbreak. I lost a friend to death, which I think I had experienced that, but I think let me just expound on the death thing. A lot of times people tend to talk about death in terms of people who are way older than us. But then the thing I realized about death and amongst people in your age group is that the mind finds it very difficult to comprehend death amongst your age group, because your mind literally tells you that these are people we are supposed to live with until we are old.
Yeah, do life with.
We're supposed to do life with these people. The way we've seen our parents do life with their friends and their siblings. And so when somebody dies and they are very young and they had this entire life ahead of them, the mind does not understand what's happening there. And I think for me, my friend died in an airline crash. And so that meant, you know, the way even when you go for a funeral and you see a body, I'm those people who are not afraid of looking at, you know, or viewing bodies. It doesn't scare me. But I feel, because I usually feel like viewing a body for me is closure. It's closure to say, okay, this person is truly gone. And there was no body because they disappeared.
Wow.
And so I think for me, it was, I could not comprehend that. I was thinking, okay, maybe this is a lie. Maybe something needs to, you know, something should change around here. And I did not think it had affected me until way later on during the year when the heartbreak happened. And then, so then I was at a job that the contract ended, and I knew it was going to end because I knew I was on a contract. But I think you're combining all these things and you're saying it's so unfair that contract ended, and you know for sure ilikuwa inaenda kuisha anyway. And then I think that year also my father fell sick for the first time, and I was just like, I think seeing your parent in such a vulnerable state, it does something to you. And I think there was just so many things happening at the same time. And for me, I just like switched into depression. Like I just went, I lost over 10 kgs. And it's so funny because when you lose a lot of weight, people come and whisper, oh my God, you look so nice. I was like, surely guys, like honestly, I feel like we've made, the bodies of women have been commercialized and also just made to look in a certain way, such that when you look a certain way, now you look nice. Nobody understands what's going on in the background until a friend of mine called me one day. She's called Nyambura. She said, if you lose any more weight, people are going to think there's something wrong.
Yeah. And I think it's easy because, you know, the weight loss for depression, or when you're going through a tough season, it's a very drastic.
Yeah, it's so drastic.
Within a short time of period,
you've
you
lost so much.
Weight. Yes. So that's an alarming sign.
It should be an alarming sign. And I think in my family, I think it's just my elder brother who noticed, and he said, kwani uko na mashida gani hizo?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Thanks, bro.
Say with love.
Yeah, like, wow. Because I think he's the only one who noticed, like, I'd lost so much weight. I was not eating. I think for me, the anxiety came with depression. The depression came with anxiety. And for me, when I have anxiety, I don't eat at all. Like, I can go for days and I'll be like, when's the last time I ate?
Yeah.
Like, even water, my body won't ask for that. And I think that's now what aided the weight loss. I would see food and I would just get so... I would be like, okay, I don't want to see food. I don't want to smell food. So that meant most of the time, because I was living in my folks' house then, most of the time I would stay in my room upstairs so that I don't smell what they're cooking downstairs. Or I leave their house and go hang out with people. But then I would hang out with people and they're eating. And they're all asking, why are you not eating? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain why I'm not eating. But then I think that season in life, something happened. You know, God works in very mysterious ways. I saw somebody asking for contacts for a therapist. He was also going through a very hard time in life. And so one day I just followed up. I said, I sent you a couple of contacts. Did you get somebody? And he said, yes, I got somebody who's been doing therapy for free. I was thinking, bro, I don't have a job right now. Me, I need free therapy. Like, honestly, where I'm going, I'm paying a certain amount of money. And I don't think I can sustain this because I'm not living on my savings fully. And, you know, reaching a certain age, you really don't want to burden your parents with, give me money. So you literally want to survive on your own. And so for me, I think, because I've been always a good saver, I had a lot of, I had savings, not a lot, but I had savings. And then KRA came through with the refund. Guys don't believe by the people get refunds from KRA. I got tried. A full refund.
I tried, but it backfired.
Like, it was over 40 Gs.
Hey!
I can't imagine. And guys are like, what? And
who do you know?
I don't know anyone.
How do you do it?
My friend just told me, so you just try and apply.
Tax refund. I tried it once. Like it's the one they do in the States, the tax refund.
Like
because for me, I also used to question why
Kenyans don't get.
But I tried once and I didn't get anything.
Because the first time I learned about tax refunds was when I was in the States, and I saw my cousin get a whole check, and I was like,
So it used to cater for my flights coming to Kenya, literally.
But I got the refund and I was so happy. You know, when you don't have money, you're like, yes, every cent counts. But then this chick, so he told me, reach out to her and see what she says. I reached out to her and she says, I'm in a season of my life where I'm doing therapy for free. I was like, Lord, is that you speaking? But then also I think for me, therapy was so important, not just the freeness of it, but I think it was important because I was also at a point where I was struggling with my Christianity and my faith. I was like, surely, what kind of God is this? And it's not that I'd lost my belief in God. I'd lost my trust in God.
And we'll get to that because there's a question on that as well.
Yeah. So, but therapy for me was just life-changing. Like, it helped me start to recover. And I think, like 2 months in, I started to look at life in a new list.
A new perspective.
And that's when I just started saying, you know what? What happened in the past, I couldn't control it, but what happens in the future is in my hands. So I started now deliberately making steps towards first gaining my weight back. Woof. Yeah, I think that was one thing. I didn't like how I looked, honestly. People are like, you look nice, but for me, I was like, nah, this is too much. Two, even like for me, when I'm stressed, you'll see it with my hair. My hair just falls. So when you see my hair thriving, just know.
She's thriving. She's a baby girl.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But when I'm stressed, my hair just shows. It just goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like for that season, I think for me, therapy was such a huge handhold. It was really...
Yeah,
really,
and it's so
really
interesting because I remember for me when I was sharing on that season where I was going through a really difficult time, one of the things that I found interesting, between your story and my story is, I don't know why, for some reason, when you're going through a difficult time, it's like everything is not working out, like it's not a one thing issue. Yeah, it's like every corner of your life, it's like hell has broken loose. Yeah. But I think that's such an interesting aspect to see that your journey of, navigating adversity and mine, the same season, it's like everything was not working out. Baraka, I'd love to hear your story. I don't know.
I've really enjoyed a very comfortable life, to be honest.
Wow. Bless the Lord.
Full head of hair.
Yeah, only that we are your friends and we know the true story. So it's either we tell it or you tell it.
First, I'm very curious about Carrie. I feel like that's the adversity I'm going through right now. You don't japata. You know adversity. I think adversity comes in different stages and different phases for me. So, for example, either it's a work-related thing.
Yeah.
And whereby, and I can imagine things where I've poured my heart and soul into, and they didn't pan out. Just the other day I was laughing with someone about how, you guys know how, TSO, the 31st of December gig. The time we got Sweeney Tenini to become service providers for food. The guy called Lucase and I.
Yeah, we know
And
him.
I told Lucase, I think it was 2012, getting into 13, I'm not sure. I told him, Sasa tumeomoka, now we're going to make money. Yeah. So I love tea. And everyone around me knows I love tea. So I figured out it's a rainy season, let's make tea. And so we made tea, like maybe 200 liters of tea or whatever. We made so much tea to go and sell. Well, 4 of us were selling. Let me tell you one thing, and this is now research from that day. Ata kunyeshe aje, even if there's thunderstorm, because it was raining, guys just want to drink cold sodas. It was ridiculous. Oh my gosh, we went at such a bad loss for that thing. And I was very hopeful at the night. In fact, when I saw it raining, I was like, Jehovah, you are good. Yes.
Shock on you.
It's raining. There's no raining on our cash. And I mean, that's one thing. I could talk about the many different business ventures because I'm very entrepreneurial. The different business ventures I've put my hand and my money in that didn't pan out. Either sometimes we dreamt too big and others didn't believe in the vision or didn't grab it. Or sometimes we're just conned. So I've been conned, but in this Nairobi. Yeah.
My goodness.
Ooh, I almost feel like we need to have an episode on that. Like for me, the year is not over, but I began the year.
Hiyo kwanza wewe umezidi wewe.
Let's not even go
there.
there.
Trisha stories
But
about being conned.
I know.
I was like, hapana. We. Na tumesoma. We share.
Conman, yeah.
Anyway, so there's that part. I think when it comes to, I wouldn't go into details about heartbreak. But I feel like my heart has been, I know my heart has been broken a couple of times. And each time I felt like I was going to die. It was so bad.
And here you are, fully alive.
Yani,
In that moment,
now
you're
I'm
like,
fine. Oh my
God,
gosh. And then for me, I think my heartbreaks are very elongated. They're very, very long, eh? It's not just a week or a month. And then surface
Tell me
level,
about it.
I'm great. Surface level, I'm great. In fact, when for me, when I'm heartbroken, I don't get into depression or anything. I get into work. I become a workaholic. I just work. So I'm hitting
That's your
targets.
outlet.
That's my outlet, yeah. So maybe when I'm super productive,
Wow,
wakubwa,
Baraka.
mkiona niko tu very, very busy, nafanya kazi
Muangalie
nini,
emotionally.
naangalia pia emotionally nakaaje. And I
feel like
excel.
that brings a lot of light in how men handle heartbreak versus women.
It's so true.
I can't speak for the gender. I don't speak for the
Because
gender.
I know
anyway,
men
yeah.
who act in the same way.
Yeah,
Like
they
when they're
give-
heartbroken, it's
they
like
give
work
themselves
is
to
their
something.
outlet.
Yeah.
And then women now it's like, other your
Everything
work
has stopped.
productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then for me, I just like to hell with women. It's like
To hell with women.
I'm kidding.
I'm just like I'm saying something, bro.
Say
like
it.
no, it's like guy. Let me nimepatiwa macho. I'm like no, but I'm just like hell with them. I'm just gonna focus on things that matter, things that actually appreciate my effort.
The guys for money,
things that
money
actually
will never.
appreciate your effort.
Yeah.
Things that actually I can see what the outcome is going to
Oh,
be.
Baraka,
Yeah.
you're the people. Money will never heartbreak me. Literally.
Money can't
Money
break
is
your
that
heart.
that
Let's
holds
chase
my
after
soul.
money.
Like, yeah. But I know I'm hurting. I know in those seasons, I know I'm hurting, you know. And you know when you get back home, it's better when it was before COVID. Because then you go to work and you have to leave and go.
Yeah.
But during COVID, you really have to be where you are, you know. I remember one time during COVID, there's one particular heartbreak that just, it didn't break me, it crushed me.
Wow.
It nearly destroyed me.
Wow.
And this girl, yeah, and well, so when we parted ways, I was like, yeah, and of course I'm like, yeah, these things happen every day. They don't. For me, they don't, you know. And so what happens is maybe a year later, on what would have been like an anniversary for us guys, that day, I crashed. I woke up, and I still come a psychological. First, you know, I'm not the best with dates for some things. So I just woke up that day, I'm like, eh. And I remember asking myself, why is this day so important to me? Have I forgotten? You know, I'm always forgetting I was supposed to meet so and so. I'm like, so I'm going through my diary, my calendar, there's no one I'm supposed to meet. I'm going through my charts. I'm like, is there someone had said I'm going to meet them on this particular day? No one. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, what was going on and what day it was. And I remember that day I crashed. I was just shaking. It's like I had withdrawal issues. It's like shaking. My voice was very shaky as well, just stuttering. I couldn't work. And then I felt so weak. So I was having what I think maybe is an anxiety or panic attack. And I remember just thinking, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And so I called a guy. I don't even know if he remembers this. I called Andy, Pastor Andy. And I don't know why. Mimi nilikuwa tu napitia tu phone book. Andy. I called Andy. And I called him and told him, my guy, I'm dying. He told me, I'm in a meeting. Wacha nitoke nje kwanza. Give me 2 minutes. My guy was dying.
I usually feel like God sometimes looks at us and he's like honestly, guys, stop exaggerating.
Yeah. But I really felt like,
but it feels
you know,
like that,
and I've even had someone later, and so maybe deviating. This was by Becca Dawn. It's talking about how when Esau came from hunting and Jacob was making food.
Dinner, yeah.
And it was like, it's just like, my guy, give me food or else I'm going to die.
Yeah, I'm dying.
I know there are times, and of course it's very hyperbolic.
Yeah,
it's not going to die. You've come from hunting, you've walked, Nini. Then the dad was a ball. Like, that was not the only thing in the house.
Yeah.
You know, it's highly unlikely. But when you go through certain moments in life, we feel like we're going to die. You know, and for me, I remember that days when I felt, other days I felt I was going to collapse, but that day I felt I was going to die, you know. But here we are, alive.
I know.
Amen.
And well.
Wow.
And
what did
not
Andy
dead.
do? You know, you left
Andy really
us at
spoke to me.
he-
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Andy spoke to me. He actually took time and called me back immediately after. Sort of like helped calm me down.
Yeah.
Explained what he thought was like a panic attack. I don't remember if we did a breathing exercise. I can't remember. Part of me thinks maybe we should have done that. But I remember just his words helped me navigate that season or that day, you know. And every once in a while you'll get that sort of like near almost going back, like your mind's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But yeah.
Wow, very interesting. And as I was hearing you guys share, I remember there's this book I read called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Such an incredible book. I actually recommend for, anyone who's either going through adversity, whatever kind of adversity it is, to actually read the book. And in his book, he says, every day for the rest of your life, you will find yourself at one of three phases: aspiration, success, failure. And ego is the enemy every step along the way. Ego is the enemy of building, of maintaining, and of recovery. I love that. And I don't know from, just the different experiences that you guys have had, just going through, rather navigating, whether it's adversity or failure. At any point, do you feel like ego came in the way of either you seeking help or even receiving help? Because sometimes people may be willing to, assist you, but then you may be at a place whereby it's like, no, I'll figure this out by myself. And then I'd also love to know, especially for men, because now that they say, specifically African men and ego, I don't know, is that part of the reason why, adversity hits hard on men more than women? That's a reality, but I'd love to know, through the seasons that you guys were in, at any point do you feel like ego came in the way of you receiving help or seeking out for help, and just how did you navigate that or overcome that?
Let me give you an example. Every time I've met Ashley always looks good.
Amen.
Her hair is well done.
She seems shocked. I don't know why.
But every single time.
We look like
minimum effort done.
Actually, like you are bare minimum. Well, Susan is Sunday best.
Wow.
But I would assume Ashley takes time to look at herself in the mirror before she leaves, make sure her hair is well put together, her glasses are not smudged, her shoes, her boots are great. And blue looks great on Ashley. Red lipstick looks great on Ashley. And everyone has that sort of like, you sort of like know when you're older what looks good on you. So like t-shirts look good on me, black jeans. Weakness doesn't look good on me. Weakness never looks good on me. And so I never want to embrace weakness. So what happens is when I'm going through stuff, I know what looks good on me, I know what doesn't look good on me. And so weakness doesn't look good on me. I feel when I get to face adversity, I can't absorb weakness. And sometimes weakness is being authentic and saying, this one has really chapered me. It's being, I don't know if you've ever been stuck somewhere and I'm like, I just don't know what to do. For me, for many circles, I'm the solution provider. For many circles, I'm on the turn to. So when you're stuck, call Baraka. How do I start telling this person, I don't know what to do? When President Uhuru was in power and he said, you can't ever. There's such a thing. But then in my mind, I'm like, use inner voice. Keep it inside. Stop saying that. But I'm sure that time just like, guys, what do you expect me to do? What do you want me to do? And maybe sometimes just, if you're president, just taking a minute or taking a day or two, getting a few people to advise you and whatever there's around it. It's a national security issue. But see, for me, that moment when I'm going through heartbreak or I've lost money, or by the way, let me tell you, when I lose money and heartbreak, it's the same thing.
Oh, wow, really? But anyway, I agree. Having been conned money this year,
not forget even conning money, being
losing
conned of
money.
tombs.
Okay.
If I've worked for something and then it flops, I feel like it's a.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, when I should tell you some stories, you're not sure one on get you a pesa, ama jonge you a dem. Because I'm just like, me invest for such a long time, me party a quality time, affection, nani pesa, ni biz. That affects me. But see, I can't be the one who is now telling guys I have no chums, I'm in debt. And being in debt is such a bad, when you're in debt, you're weak.
You're vulnerable.
Hey, yeah.
So true.
A guy calls you tetemeka. First you're like, do I pick this call? Don't I pick this call? If it's a strange number, you wonder, is it new biashara or is it someone who I owe money who is calling me with a different number? See if I'll pick, So I think for me, and for many guys, again, like I said, I won't speak for the gender, but for many guys, when you admit to adversity, it makes you weak. And no one wants to seem weak. It doesn't look good on you. So what happens is, you put something on. So for example, you put a jacket on. The jacket is to become the hype man. It becomes work. I'm always going to be at work. or it's drinking or whatever it is. It's something to cover that you're hurt inside, you know. And so maybe assuming the hurt is physically, like someone has stabbed me and there's a wound here in my heart, and I wear something on top, you will not see the wound. In fact, you'll be like, hey, your jacket ni kali, ulitoa wapi? I'm like, it will buy H&M, whatever. But ndani, my guy, you feel like you're bleeding out. You feel like hata sijui kama nitafika mtaani or whatever. So it's hard to do that. I know it's necessary to get help. I just want to make it clear that it's not the first reaction to do. It's and weakness is not something I'd like to do. It's not something I like to embrace.
You know, the funniest thing is, it is also true for some women. That also for them, I think ego comes in between, and I speak like that because I also know myself. I don't like to look weak.
I don't know that it's for most, especially strong women. Sometimes I don't like using that word, but either those who are called, exactly. I think
so tired.
Those who are called like either into leadership or a sense of influence,
or even just being people who've been parentified since they were small. I think that's the thing, and I think one time my mother said, you know, she's the one who holds everyone. And I was like, guys, I'm so tired of holding everyone. Like emotionally, I'm spent. And for me, I think one of the things I do when I'm going through a difficult time is I become the comedian. I'll sit around my friends and I'll make you guys laugh. You know, we'll laugh, we'll do everything. And then, I go home. I remember one time when I was going through a really difficult period, we went on a road trip with my friends. And that night, I entertained them the whole night, you know, and they're like, yo, next time you're going, there's no trip you're leaving Ashley behind, you know, because I was entertaining the whole day and the whole night. The next day we are going back to Nairobi, and I was just like, guy, today if I can die, I'll be so happy. And nobody knew it, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I've been masking my pain through entertainment and comedy, and that's what I do. I make people laugh. At the end of the day. But also I think for me, ego is from a different perspective. I feel like ego makes you not get healing, because for me, it's the questions that I ask myself. Why is it that I am the one who had to go through this? I mean, I don't deserve this. So it's like, you're not, I think your mind sort of tells you, you're special. You shouldn't be going through this. Yet you're still as human as anyone else. And when you're questioning, the more you question or you're going through something, the less time you give towards healing. And that's what I've seen. I've seen it even with people in my life. I'm like, you're constantly saying, why would it happen to me? Why are people treating me like this? Instead of now looking for solutions towards the problems that you have. And that's another side of ego that people don't understand. It's not.
I know there's specific attributes, you know, that I believe play a role in helping us bounce back, you know, from failure or adversity. I remember for me in that season, one of the attributes that I had to really pick up and, you know, be proactive in was that place of gratitude. You know, I had to wake up every day and identify one thing or several things that I'm grateful for, you know, instead of, you know, being buried with all the things that were not working out. So gratitude for me was one of the huge ones, but also I think for me in that season I also learned the place of patience and perseverance, because especially when it's prolonged, because a lot of times, you know, you could be praying but then you don't know when God will answer you. You know, for you, God gave you answers in 4 days. You know, I remember for me that season extended to almost over a year of just waiting on God, waiting for the answers, or, you know, just waiting for a breakthrough. And I had to get to a place of learning just the place of patience and perseverance, and knowing that eventually, as Baraka said, all things will work out together for my good. So I don't know what other attributes you guys can share on.
Patience is such a hard thing. Me, I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning at my big age how to be patient. But the first thing you said was before patience, gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds so simple, but when I was going through therapy, one of the things that my therapist had me do was, before every session, come with a list of things I'm grateful for. Very minute things. Like, remember I was telling you that time I could not eat. If I would manage to eat one meal a day, I would write it down. And it works in a certain way. It sort of shifts your mindset, because you start to it brings positivity. It brings a bit of positivity into your life. And you know, when she was telling me, I was like, my goodness, this these therapy tests. What is this she's telling me? But when I started to do it, I started to see the essence in it. It's not like things turned around like immediately,
Magically, yeah.
but I started to get pockets of joy. That's what I was looking for. I started to get pockets of joy, and it was just through small things. Like I remember one day I went and did my nails, and I just felt so good. And it was just a simple act of doing my nails. But I wrote that down, and I think gratitude is during adversity, just noting down tiny things. Did I get out to feel the sun today? Write it down. That's something to be grateful for. Did I even eat a meal? If you've not been able to eat a meal, that's something to be grateful for. And it just helps slowly shift your mindset from a constant state of negativity to now starting to think about things that are working out. And now it helps you now start to look for solutions to your problems. And I think for me, gratitude is such a huge thing. Yeah.
Okay, Baraka?
Mine are very simple. Acceptance and truth. Accept this is what's going on. Sometimes we're in denial and try to hide in different things. You need to accept and call it out and in detail. This is what is going on and it's how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
And I feel this because of XYZ. But then also truth. Sometimes our feelings, our thoughts cloud the truth.
Yeah.
And you feel like, oh my God, I'm never going to succeed in life because you lost out on a big job interview. Right? That's not the truth. Truth is you didn't do well on this one. There's still many jobs out there for you.
Yeah.
I look at guys who took a stab at running for president. I'm like, man, I had put everything in this election and it failed. I'm never going to become a leader. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
Not the truth. Truth is an election coming up in 5 years.
Yeah. You
You have
never
every chance
know.
to do it
Yeah,
again,
try
you know? So I think for me, it's just those two. Accept what's going on.
Yeah.
Then actually sit down and say, this is the truth. This is how I feel. But what's the
But
truth?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a very good
and I think
perspective,
also
yeah.
just the place of teachability and being willing to evolve and change and, try something else. You can't be stuck, once something failed, just bouncing back and just carrying that awareness that you still have the abilities, you still have life, which is the greatest gift that, God can grant any one of us. And so
There's
you
plan
still...
B and C.
Yeah, this plan B and C that you've not explored. So I
Yeah.
think just opening yourself to realize, that there are many other things that you can try and things will work out. Doesn't matter how many times you fall, but I think, the Bible says a righteous man falls 7 times, so if you haven't fallen 7 times, or if there are people who, by the time you're getting to like 60, 70 years or even 80, you've probably fallen many times. And then every time you fall, you still have the ability to bounce back again. And I know in the next topic will be, we'll get to share about one of the key things that I believe also helped each one of us navigate that, seasons of adversity, which is building a strong support system. But for today, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of today's episode. We are truly grateful for all your support. Remember to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and leave us your remarks. Give a thumbs up, share with a friend or two. Thank you so much. Until the next episode, it's a bye.